Look to the left, look to the right, look straight ahead. It's getting hot, guys. We're getting into summertime. So we're not only dealing with hot weather, we're dealing with rain. Okay, so every single day, there's gonna be a weather event that's gonna be taking the chlorine out of these pools. Every single day. It's either gonna be scorching hot, or we're gonna get a lot of rain, or one of the customers is gonna have to add water to their pool because of the evaporation from it being hot. Okay, so just know, if we're at a 5 on chlorine, we add 1 jug of chlorine to the pool. That should raise it to about an 8, 8.5 in the pool, right then and there. Okay, every single day, that chlorine level is going to be notching down from that 8.5, next day, 8, next day, 7.5, next day, 7, 6, 5.5, 5. And then that's when we're back the next week to check it. So we want to make sure that we're adding enough chlorine to be able to account for the level dropping throughout the week. So we don't want to jack it way up and then have it come all the way back down, jack it way back. We want a nice, easy, right in the middle. When it comes to our pH, we're dealing with our pH. We're going to be using a lot of tabs this time of the year, guys. So your duck floaters, you should have a duck floater in every pool, and we should have at least 3 tabs in every single one of those. Sometimes it's hard to fit 4 in there when we have even like a tiniest little tab on the bottom. So 3 tabs in every one of your duck floaters going around, and that's going to lower our pH level. So it's going to lower our pH level to the point where when we're adding acid, it's just going to be a minor amount. And if we're seeing the pH is really high and we're using a lot of tabs, we know 2 things happen. They either got a lot of rain, or we add a lot of water was added. With our alkalinities for a salt pool should be at around an 80 to a 90. Okay, we want it on the low end, but it can't get any lower than an 80. Okay, so if you test a 70, you have to walk back to your truck and get some bicarb to add to it, or you need to have bicarb ready to add to the pools. Every time we get rain, every time water goes into the pool, that's when our alkalinities drop. Anytime we get evaporation and water is sucked out of the pool, that's when our alkalinities rise. Alkalinity, in the simplest terms, is going to keep the water very soft, and it's going to protect the surface. Alkalinity sets the ceiling for pH. So the higher our alkalinity level is, if it's at a 120, 130, 140, every time we test our pH, we're going to see an 8.2. It's going to be that nice purple color. We can't even really read it. It's off the charts. Okay. Then when we test on the alkalinity being a 60 or a 50, we're going to see our pH is obviously going to be very low. It's going to be at like a 6.87. So it's going to be a more light yellow color, not purple. This is because the alkalinity sets the ceiling. The alkalinity also determines the softness of the water, because a very low alkalinity is going to be a very acidic water. Very high alkalinity is going to have a lot of base in it. So it's got a lot of baking soda in it. And you can feel that in the water. So if we ever walk up to a pool and we know that they have kids, and the kids are going to be swimming in the pool, and obviously they're going to be opening their eyes underwater and burning their eyes, what we're going to do is we're going to try and raise that alkalinity level just to make the water softer for those kids. And what do kids do when they swim in the pool? They pee in it. And that's going to lower our alkalinity, because pee is an acid. So if we ever check a spa and we see that the alkalinity is very low in the spa, it's because someone peed in it. The stabilizer is going to be determined basically in a salt pool. We want the stabilizer at a 70 to an 80. No lower, no higher. Okay? That's because when a salt pool creates chlorine, it's creating chlorine inside the salt cell. And when it is, it's making about a pound of chlorine per day. That's in a gas. It's going through the cell, and it's just slowly going out of the jets as the jets are running throughout the day. So when we add chlorine to a chlorine pool, we're dumping in the whole week's dose of chlorine all at once. So that's the difference between a chlorine and a salt pool. But a salt pool, the little bits of chlorine that it's shooting into the pool as it's running, Well, that needs the stabilizer to protect it so it doesn't get immediately eaten up by the sun. So the stabilizer is going to slow down the effective chlorine rate for our chlorine going into the pool, whether it's a salt pool creating chlorine or it's chlorine that we're physically adding to the pool. Say we have a 5 in the pool for our chlorine level. All right, but our stabilizer level is a 70. Let's see if that's effective. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our stabilizer level, 70, we're gonna times that by 0.075, okay? 0.075 is how many gallons of water fit in a cubic foot. That's 5.25 is the effective chlorine rate. So if we're at a 5 and 5.25 is the effective chlorine rate, our chlorine is going to work. Okay, but what's gonna happen is as that level goes down, even slightly, even 2.25, 0.5, 1, as it goes down, it's gonna be less and less and less effective. So right where it's at right now, if it was at a 5, we shouldn't see any green in the pool with it being a 5.25 effectiveness. But if we tested a 4, it might have green in it, okay? So that's where the stabilizer comes in. With us using a lot of tabs, I want you guys to be checking the stabilizer and realizing, okay, this stabilizer level is gonna determine exactly where we need to be as far as chemicals go. See, we got a 40 for stabilizer. Then we're gonna times it by 0.075, and that's gonna equal a 3 for effective chlorine rate. Okay, what's wrong with that? Why is that 3 a little low for us? Because if we're trying to hold a 3 in our swimming pools, and we're servicing it on Monday, and we're gonna have to go until next Monday, then what's gonna happen is, what's gonna happen to that 3? It's gonna go down every single day, right? So it's gonna go down to a 2.5, then it's gonna go down to a 2. But wait, where's our effective chlorine rate? Our effective chlorine rate is a 3. So as it goes down, we're gonna see stuff. So what I want you guys to realize is this stabilizer level is everything. It determines exactly where your chlorine level is gonna be. If your stabilizer was at 100 times 0.075, your effective chlorine rate has to be a 7.5. Okay, so at a 7.5, if you test the chlorine and you get a 6 or 7 for your chlorine, right? And you just add 1 jug of chlorine to that pool, chances are that's not gonna be enough, because that's gonna only bring it up so much and then it's gonna fall down. So we need to always be in relation with our stabilizer. But really guys, I don't want you to have 100 stabilizers in your pool. That's from using tabs too much, okay? So when we use tabs throughout the summer, we need to be keeping close relationships with the tabs to our stabilizer level. So in a pool where the stabilizer is getting up to an 80 or a 90, we got to lay off the tabs for a couple weeks. We got to put 1 tab in there, not 2 or 3. Okay, and just let the rain do its work. It's gonna rain, then you can go back to using tabs again. But we don't want to go, once it hits 100, no tabs at all. So if you're at 90, you can use 1 tab. What you guys need to know is every single tab that you put in a perfect case scenario where it's a 10,000 gallon pool, every tab is gonna raise your stabilizer level 3. So 3 tabs will raise it 9. So just keep that. You know, if we're putting those in, we put tabs in, and then water goes into the pool throughout the week, it doesn't even matter. So just keep tabs on your stabilizer readings, but it doesn't really matter how many tabs are going into the pool, because different amounts of water are going into all these pools as well. If we get a 0 in a pool, 10,000 gallon pool, 2 jug minimum. If it's an outdoor pool, 3 jug minimum. Okay, screened in pool, 0, 2 jug minimum. Outdoor pool, 3 jug minimum. Okay, if you touch your hand into the water and you feel that the water is very warm, you know that's gonna burn up more chlorine. You should be accounting for that. Also, we wanna have that stabilizer level a little bit on the higher side. So like 50 to 60, we can keep a little range, okay? So you don't want it too high, because then the chlorine level has to just be insane for it to work for that pool, okay? If we go to a salt pool and we see that the chlorine is low, add chlorine, okay? Literally, if a customer says anything, have them talk to me. Just say, call Spencer. I can't leave this pool crossing my fingers and hoping it's gonna make enough chlorine until we come back the next time. Okay, so let's cover our butt, pour that chlorine in the pool, get it done. I'm Spencer, this is Bowie. There's a new video for you to watch right here, and please subscribe right here. Thank you so much, we'll see you next week.